Inside Story Uganda. Real source of.
And I told you that this is going to happen, or the same thing is going to happen ku pipeline. We are going to start paying Tanzania. Tanzania yewoze sente. Ye ina public land. Tena bagenda giremeramu. Ne wano buli pipeline wegenda okuyita baguzeewo. Buli lero wegenda okuyita baguzeewo.
Bamafu yabaseko kugula wate.
Nabagamba nti
eyo
Katumba amala gyali ebusabala. Omusajja yali agenda kutuzimbira Malaba. Ekyapa ne bakibba mubuuze Seiko. Ne batwala emuntu ekiro omusajja ne bakimuggyako Malaba. Omusajja nange abansaba emiliyoni za $5 siridda wamu. Yampita mu Mbaasa. Ngaaga nti ebintu bibeere ewammwe kwe Malaba katuzimba ndala. I don't blame this woman because you would invoke a provision in the agreement. Kano kabanda ulumbe ulunabe akafere kasajja gwa nnumba kukube nkumalewo kabanda kanumbe kakube nkamale
ata naba kulumbira kikabanda
kadimu kanukule busirusiru kati bo provoking abawe sente this muwanga type they are provoking bakole ndagano mukazi abawe sente. Two, doesn't the woman have a company here? Where is the spokesperson of this woman? Why don't we see why is it that your corrupt newspapers don't look for the woman? Yes. Don't blame the woman.
Miscoordination, yes.
Mao Setongo yagamba 2 feet forward, 1 foot backward. Nemba wandikira akatabo kange nti back to the same mujiri. Government ya Uganda kati eri ku experiment.
Ebigere biri maso kimugotako kimwe mabega.
You destroyed the rail, you are reviving the rail. You destroyed UTC, you are reviving
the transport, the buses. Yes, you want to bring back the buses. You destroyed the cooperatives.
Akakubana muri nekatawanya Kampala na akalekawo. Nekatawanya Kampala nekajja bana ba boda mukabera. Ayame kotoketa. Akafekete. Nekatawanya Kampala Museveni nakalekawo. Omukazi yatawanya Owino Museveni namulekawo. Yes. Akafekete akajju katika kimulutalo. Akatawanya abana ba boda. Babakabera emitwe. Omutwe bayinza ko garanti y'omutwe erirudawo. Navudde yatabuka.
Olwaleero
abaya akava mu kyuma tekalabika ekikutegeeza nti kafere tekalabika
abaya akava mu
kyuma akamanyi
oli abaya akava mu kyuma mukebera
ne baketegekedde mu sitekasimba bakanyigezi n'ez'omuwo wino bagenda kanyigezi omuwo winawo kekaliyingira mu chambers bagenda bakalindidde bakanyigezi omuwo wino ez'omuwo wino entula kakati nkubuulira nenkugamba nti kakati today baga to liberalizing emwanyu kakati they are coming up with a new policy bakugamba nti ateka today mu coffee marketing board nga tuziwadde private person
ateka byamwebaza
aganta bimanyiko yabadde abiyimbirira
yabyeganyi
ubivamugoba dda tumwebaze busaki anti tumwebaze yepankira ku mukozi. When you are not to be part of my
Tamale,
drop Uganda yebidandi yani oyanuka kati akole endagano ne tumwebaze namuwole bba tumwebaze ali munnaku wa 40 tabalibwa anuka kati ali mu lujji ayolekedde ati kubuulira nti failure to explain. Let them explain what has warranted to go back to coffee marketing board. And what benefits are we going to have? Read them. Why do you expect us to come? Let the Minister of Agriculture agaita bimanya avemu. Wabewo Minister of Agriculture
anabitegera.
Yes, governments do things, unpopular things. Margaret Thatcher liberalized the railway. Margaret Thatcher fought miners, coal miners. Nagati bicha ina mugaso. Na liberalizing economy. But
bamulwanyi sanno sebo
yafuga emyaka emeka
jawerako leero sajja
Tony Blair agamba we start a new labor to jereba mu politics. If we want to win back power, we must be more Thatcher than Thatcher herself.
So they rebranded.
Yes. Nebogenda olwaleero tudde mu London. But railway is a transport, the private people. when you have an hour, 2 hours, ticket yenu tekola eno. Yes, Margaret Thatcher has results. The failure by government to explain the suspicion. Government has lost credibility, public trust. Once a government loses public trust and confidence, everything it does becomes a referendum. If I sell my chengera home, obaka baragala home, nengamba mukazi wange ali echengera nti tugende mu kyalo. Enyumba nesiyiteeka ogayo wazana njitunda. The children of Zana gang up against me. Kubanga ndachitinga bali. Yes, I've lost credibility. Government uyo omuvu obukatu mwebaza yakuba abantu kolero ne musisi. Nika kabusenga olifa bubi. Kabusenga olifa weta ko.
Ayingidde wera.
Akasajja kakuba nekakuba omusajja.
Yabulira wa mukwano gwo.
Kabula. Nekakuba omusajja wa St. Lawrence nakano kakulubya. Mbwa alesa abaana. Kubaka agala batwale essomero lya abaana balidu. Nga kazimbe ebizimbe nanziga. Ne ala sosudde obufekete bwonna wano.
Omukyala kati ayingidde mu kofi
okukola. Yes, explain the impact, the benefits we get. Yes, because I've told you, until we've gone back to the original, we are going back to the same Mujini. If it requires a new curriculum in education, ng'abasomesa tembalina ne muddamu buto. Obuzibu bwa curriculum ya Uganda bubadde. When East African people were flocking here, kakati nze nkugamba nti what is important now is a failure by government to explain. If we find a minister,
wagamba ne government yote ina PR.
Teyina.
Yalema.
Tebayina. Museveni tebayina. Teyina bamwogere. Kakati what they want, baagala omukazi oyo, kampuni omukazi oyo, ewa abamawulire ssente abaavu.
Bamafia balireka akasente.
Kakabanda kazunze ntuyoko. Kakabanda. Kankubulire. Nze kana akataba kano okalaba. Nakawandiika ddi. Bukaba. Nakalaba damusire tawo singa kazunzayo entu kafere. Nga kafere n'olutwe lwako. Yinza n'okuwandiika akatabo ebyafaayo byakafere nekateeka mu constituency yako bwekaddamu okuŋŋaŋala. This Kabanda is an agent. Akatabo kano nakawandiika ddi.
Dated 25th December 2012.
Yes. Nawandiika ddi. Nababuulira Parliament ya Uganda. Nababuulira Parliament ya Uganda.
2012.
I analyzed your Parliament. Understanding mafia politics.
Oh yes, akukadda.
A handbook for NRM cadres. Nalinde uzanti.
Neba abisoma.
Tebayinza.
Babisoma.
Mwebaze yagoba bala disi. Kankubulire. Nakugamba.
Understanding mafia's politics.
Nakugamba. Nti
abotwa ku money making groups.
Nakuviira wano negamba nti the opposition abali mu Parliament ya Uganda
ebiseera ebyo
wenawandiike era be balimu nambe mu the opposition. These have come to realize that it is easier to hoodwink NRM MPs to support their interests, opposition interests, if they are packaged as national interests. For example, NRM MPs were tricked to support censure motions against ministers, believing that they were fighting corruption. What the opposition MPs did was to package these anti-government motions as intended to solve a problem in a government. What the NRM MPs overlook is that such motions undermine the credibility of their government. It is not in the interest of the opposition to clean up their opponent. Opposition bwe bajja batunda ekintu abenaalemu ne bagamba kiyamba eggwanga naye nga bwe basinga mungi obungi abenaalemu ne babakwata naye nkugamba. However, during such motions we hear slogans and phrases such as this is not NRM, this is not the opposition, this is a national matter that should unite all of us because corruption or any other thing affects all of us irrespective of political affiliation. Therefore, NRM MPs on many occasions end up helping the opposition. In fact, for a party like NRM capable of cleaning itself, the censure motions against ministers would originate from the movement caucus, not the opposition as the current trend is. It should be the movement caucus to tell the minister you stink. Sikulinda opposition goba minister. Mwali bamwegobedde. So that you take the credit.
So now opposition sets the debate in parliament. Sets the agenda.
This explains why the Public Accounts Committee, headed by the opposition, has taken the center stage in the battle against corruption. What the government has failed to highlight is PAC is its own creation. These are part of the innovations. Otherwise, they were not there. Yes, is a creation of all of these institutions in parliament, a creation of NRM. Although it is a Commonwealth principle that the opposition heads the PAC, this does not mean that it grants it freedom. PAC is not a side that investigates cases. No. It depends on the Auditor General's reports, whose independence depends on the leader in a particular country. In the case of Uganda, this freedom in the parliament is guaranteed by President Museveni. No Auditor General is a foreign diplomat with diplomatic immunity. What this means is that the Auditor General's independence is guaranteed by the government and the president, not the opposition. However, the public has been made to believe that the Auditor General is a byproduct of the opposition, which has grabbed the credit from the government. Another important factor is that not all countries have vibrant parliaments. Having an elected parliament does not mean ensure its freedom. The freedom you see in the parliament is as a result of the liberalization policy of Museveni and democratic credentials. This does not For example, between 1980 to 85, we had multi-party politics. Did we have PAC in the parliament? Did the opposition play a role in parliament apart from storming out and boycotting sessions? In many cases, opposition MPs resorted to boycotts. They did not have the political clout like today. And it's because the executive then did not guarantee its freedom. By the NRM government. Tebayina bakyogerera. Parliament chiringa nti
Constitution siye babedemberio.
Yani yajiritawo.
Constitution.
Bali bakwatidde mu parliament, bali bakwatiddemu. Bino bifulopinga bino ne bajja musemanyi balwanidde mu parliament bakoze iki gwatayina intelligence nganze omusajja yasoma ebintu ebyo nentegeera nti bagenda kulwanira mu parliament nze mbaga nti waliwo abatujja abagenda okutega parliament netuyiwawo abambadde obukookolo waliwo opposition yalwanira mu parliament nti njiyingire. Yes, they don't get first hand information. Their intelligence is poor.
Chiche kiramu kati government yeno
nembagamba mu parliament mulimu bakabanda nikazunze ntwe kabada gendo pabiri mu kote
abadde abantu bafubuka nga kulembeze waabwe
ne election kabanzi twadda mu kutuganira gwene muwanga kivundu
ekifo nakyakirina ekyabafubuka
mutawanya omukazi
kizaayo
atya kazunga kati obwo bwejenti bwabwe kati bulina ababukozesa
ejenti ya mafia
kabanda jjayo omutwe nkusese ebbule mbumanyi. I even wonder how people can elect a person like Kabanda as MP.
Yeah?
Yes.
It does not qualify.
But bafiri bane babubi babulita. Oyayinza kuyita ewafu. Kabanda naye simbe wafu. Ngoyitamu atya. Abeyo mu be muwunyise.
Ava ku mukazi omuyitali
mu parliament. Mu parliament. Bunonya sente mu parliament. Mulimu money making group ye yakabande nabagamba money making group. This is a shrewd group that has taken advantage of the corruption in the government. Although the parliament must be populistic, but this does not mean abandoning its cardinal role. MPs have realized that once the corrupt are subjected to pressure, they play ball. Bagala kujja sente mu mukazi.
Bokodio.
Government panikinga. Minister of Finance no gamba. Mbo COVID yamugana okuzimba. era foundation yes covid yamugana okuzimba kati ekyettaka takimanyi niddo saka the idiot noyo mugobe saka the fool anti batya bano baminisita bateka finance minister mumaje we have educated people ono omusajja gundi yasomera Sandhurst economist w'amaanyi yo omusajja bamuyitanga ali omuwanvu bwati
asigale mumaje akwelire
ate kati major yawummula ddala retiring I forgotten his name yasoma economics alina gundi masters they are soldiers with masters degrees chokuwa hiyo
bebabaleta
hiyo minister wa biashara chaguwa toka baba kanga
Tamala bagobye tachayagala kumanya
MPs have realized that once the current are subject to pressure they play ball. Another score by parliament against the executive is the nature of its operation. Although this is a legislative assembly whose cardinal duty would be to make laws, parliament has usurped the powers of other institutions and the public does not see this danger of moving towards a parliamentary dictatorship. Abantu abatasoma byabufuzi tebamanyi parliamentary dictatorship. Once you elect a president in parliament agenda kubeera ku ntoli zaabwe bajja musabanga ssente tulabakireeta mukireete mulabe sajenti ddo bajjayo enzinyo mukireete mujjeko abantu eddembe ly'okulonda mujja kuleba sajenti ddo ajjayo enzinyo sajenti ddo ajjayo enzinyo mulabe omufuka wagalubindi kugamba parliament is seen by the gullible public as succeeding where the executive has failed. When ministers are put to task in parliament they are left to fight alone. This explains why Minister Saida Bumba and Dr. Kidu Makubuya and the Chogamu ministers decided to implicate the president in their scandals to win favors from PACA members who are from the opposition. This creates double loyalty. But who can best help one minister in danger? Is it the PAC or the president? When a minister faces trouble in parliament, abenali muteba muyamba. Nalyoka PAC. Era ngondi yaje wange Kiddu Makubuya. Ale morning nga panikinga. Nanga chichi nti muchogamu. Nangama nti Kasiyano Wadiri has told me if I don't implicate Museveni in the scandal or vomit him, he's going to take me to Luzira. I looked at the attorney general, a person with a PhD, panicking. Did Kasiyano has told you? Yes. I appeared in the park and Kasiyano told me if I don't implicate Museveni, he's going to send me to police. Sikukubira woo paka bajiba mpite mbakubire mu emigo. They have enough powers to take it to Kasiyano Wadiri, Atisa Attorney General. Yes, but enough power. I ministers. I know mandate to people wapako merachi. I'm a minister, my name P. Auntie, Ganim Parliament, Chogere, Chogere, Bagan and the chairman of Park, Mubek Madala Manyunga, Auntie Kubori, Nabuza Kiddu Makubuya. Did you swallow Museveni? Nga Kiddu Makubuya anonya Museveni tamulaba nti omusajja ngambi if I go back in 2 days and eventually implicated Museveni and kubulira nti when there is a crisis no but minister bali mu crisis movement caucus yali badeba etuwa wabbo wunya resign tetujja kuyamba oba kyewakola ministers lwaki mu America bayina presidential pardons presidential pardon kitegeeza president wa Uganda ayinza okulagira okukola ekintu ekiriyirigo naye nga kiyamba eggwanga kakati osanga wa minister ayogera nga tumwebaza nti ekyo sikimanyiiko tukimanyiiko kuba tukyali minister ate onaamanya kuki nayogera mu bantu omukazi wawaka abaana ne bamubuuza mami nvaaki mami nvaaki mami nvaaki sizimanyi oli mamaki awusigala atandise okufumba emmere nga tomanyi ogenda musanga mbuliri. That's what it means. Kakati nkugamba I was amazed when state house officials handed over a list of other districts to the president's parliamentary committee, whose bias against the president is obvious, even to a baby. The committee recommended the sacking of other districts because they knew that it would undermine the president. It was intended to prove to the affected other districts that the president could not protect them. In my opinion, Parliament cannot verify one's academic qualifications. This is the role of courts, because parliamentarians themselves have had this academic problem and have always been referred to the courts. In order to undermine the president, the committee further ordered the scrapping of State House scholarships because, according to them, the scholars were giving the president political mileage, which had to be undermined. Interestingly, Parliament was not abolishing the scheme. It was rather transferring the scholarships from the president to the Minister of Education, whether they could easily share the offers from themselves. Furthermore, unlike the executive, which has strictly observed its law, Parliament orders the arrest of corrupt government officials. They have ordered sackings. They have handled public issues like markets. They have revived court cases. They have intimidated the judiciary, IGG, and other government institutions. In a nutshell, they have successfully insulated themselves from public scrutiny because they are seen, perceived by the public as an active parliament. Babidam. Yes, it is true. Parliament is be populistic, but it cannot lose its core, its cardinal role of legislation.
Yes, okay.
Yes. Muina legal committee, muinachi. But the Kabandas are fighting, threatening the woman. The woman is smart. Is an international business woman. Mugena mujja kuchi.
Ajakuba wayera, bimanyi kasaya jamu Africa.
Kasitaya bagamba nti musasule. Ne pipe ya Tanzania mujja gisasula. Ne double age lero wano mujja gisasula. Kubaka ti double age lero mwegendo kuyita bazimba mudda. Yes.
Mulema bizimbe.
Compensation.
Kalegena.
Ya mujja kutambula. Ya Kenya tuzen. We are equal members of the East African community. Tell us chemusiko walinga. Mutubuli.
Otuse walunja awera twali last week
okazane kugamba. Nti president yechi atategera ku.
Uganda na cheteka ku meza.
President yechi atategera ku parliament yakola bwetyo. Nakugamba. In villages, the old chairperson who follows the law becomes unpopular. People want action, not legal jargons. Fortunately for MPs, nobody comes to question their mode of operation. The media wrongly believes that Parliament is complementing the executive. But these are paid up media, these are mercenary. Monitor. Those are good. Mercenary media. Bwakuma da, bwakulanga mulufula nebufuka bu report. They think that MPs are doing what the executive has failed to do. Parliament is also the largest source of information in Uganda. Its news, in many cases, falls into sensational nature, which boosts newspaper sales. This has cemented the bond between MPs and the media. Secondly, newspaper sales depend on conflicts, not development issues. The way our parliament operates always reminds me of mob justice. Many villages prefer mob justice because it's quicker at dispensing justice, precise, and does not require advocates or call for witnesses. Because if Kabanda was, I don't know his level of education. From Mwanga, I know his brain has been affected. This is not the Mwanga, I know. If
has been affected by what?
If there is a conflict over the agreement, who is called to explain to Parliament? You are experts, the Solicitor General and the Attorney General.
Solicitor General yakujja okutunulira embeera eyo ne Auditor General byensimbi n'ebirala byonna. Yes. So the three of them should appear
to answer
the queries.
Yes. sikuwogalya mukazi abawe sente nga bakabanda
kubanga omukazi alina abantu byakolana nabo nga
naye ayina balooya be kabanda omukazi tajja kuwa sente kabanda ku luno zonze entwe zonze I reincite even iwamwe mu constituency oleme kuddayo kabanda ngenda kukuba olukuba tajja zirya nkamanyi nnyo mukasajjaku nkamanyi nnyo kayina abakakoleramu tekasana nakubeera kabaka ka palamenti buli wekali konna buvuyo nakulabanga mu palamenti kampunira atono musesasoka bempinka malewo bwebwo bubutu mwebaze bwaniwo that's the same group ono gundi waliwo akankubira essimu bakaizanikana kase wava that's the same group national president's office national chairman's office they discredit oyo mwana sewava yankubirako esimu naŋŋamba olanya nesemwogerere akibisopo bagenda kukyali wange ku sande naawe tukwagala oli musajja mugezi nenfuna omuntu amanyi semwogere ntebiriiyo kakati oyo omwana baali bagenda kunkidinapinga ye tamanyi nti nze simu eno mbambalabo when he talk to me nti bano abasajja bekyengera ekiro kyonna nabawulidde nga boogera has the money come has the operation been done kati sewavayo omu ne kabanda eyo semugulupu buyinvokinga erinnya lya Museveni kakabanda nekaleegentwe mbaba omuntu ogwo nti these people what they don't know they will chase away investors. They will chase away investors. Yes. Because if this woman kambabuli
nene ba investor betereze balimekozesa wani Tamale
kambabuli
betereze nabo
omusajja mugagga nnyo eyagula essomero lya Simon bamuleeta wano. President said saali agadde kujjawo essomero eryo muzimbeko paati naye baŋŋambye Museveni consults baŋŋambye nti abazungu bakunama bajja kunamira abaana baffe mujjewo essomero eryo mulizimbe ewalala. The man offered to construct a school. President agani nekyokubiri when you see these hotels mu mawanga agamu zibeera mu kifo kimu nti oyina Sheraton, oyina Imperial, oyina Speak, oyina ewa Kigongo, oyina awo ku Nairo, kakati nawano bwokolawo nti omuntu kati fe abatambuddeko bw'otuuka mu kifo ekimu ne baga nti bajjudde oba wakooye dda nnyo naye bano bakubira bannaabwe essimu nti mulinayo ki era kyova wulira byasala street byagundi kakati president agamba naye esente bazibba esente bwe bazibba eza Simoni kulizimba balina gye bakatwala era ne bugana kubukabanda ne bugana n'entweyako n'entwe bubbe. What happened? Omusajja yagamba eyo protein gye bawadde. It is going to discredit my name because you don't know this Italian woman in story of Bukabanda umutie business ewalala olutweka nonyokuba kubanga kegase ne muwanga kivumbira banabalala bakanga kati omuyitala abayite tajja bayita kana akasabo kange kafulumye kafulumye kwekali ku street kwekali kati
kali muhozi kali n'olugaba become muhozi
asobolera ddala tomulaba tolaba ono bwamubuuza
tugenda kasoma sabijja
tolaba bebi
abuuza ono omukulu
amubuuza owagala
nti muhozi kali n'olugaba asobola okubeera muhozi
amubuuza can he grow
asobola okukula
bebi n'amugamba nti yes I have stamina nowagalubindi owagalubindi atunudde bwati owagalubindi era wenaale kani this one gulo baby naddamu yes has
Tamale Mirundi atali wa NRM
wagirayo olaba baby bwafuddemu essajja olaba baby bwafuddemu essajja kusi kati era abasekanzu
mami Tamale
nakomu kanonye
mu bigambo bibiri njagala bajja kanonya
nudda nakomu kanonye bakwatire ku kafekete k'omu Kampala bakwatire ku Kisaka bakwatire ku basekanzu nakomu kanonye
mu bigambo bibiri where do you see FDC NUP DP Amoro by elections?
No, what Mao is the kingmaker there. Mao has told them, if Bumuta Simba Mutabani Wala Nyanzija Kakati, chairman was on a west a 5 oil.
Nalashamala Kubangamba.
Mwegendirizi. Oyo wa 5 ali mu group y'abano. Abamadinga waters chairman wa 5. Mwegendirizi. Ali mu group ye.
So where is Nope?
Anti
DP yonjirabe we
ono yiba mawutandika kati ono Bobi Wine bamukwata ne bamukozesa donke waka
agenda kuwagira
yagende hege yagenda luddawa Besigye asirise ye Besigye yes dangerous substitute
alinze
kasarwabo ne muhozi Museveni alimo okujjamu
bana bawatagala
ne balemeramu atelwabo go prefazani
wewa
aprefaringa lwaboga prefaringa gundi ani
mutabani wa
kiza Besigye yes
wachiri
ono gwatayagala mukoddomiwe kitegeeza nti yazanya gwa kifiriza
obadde mulabi mulungi nnyo program
kiza Besigye wamaanyi nnyo
ogenda kumuddamu
ongomuteeka advantage of the confusion ni Museveni
tugenda kubeera naye mu ngeri mwenda saa mwenda sennyini tugenda kuba n'omukulu Tamale Mirundi olunaku lw'Essande nga tuzeemu programu eno olwaleero natusomeseza ebintu bingi nnyo ebyenjawulo mpadde toki nnungi nnyo mukomekereza wano ekigenda okubeera mu Amoro agambye nti Norbert Mao ye kingmaker ate ye munnange president wa NUP ali ku donke waka tanamanyani gwagenda kuwagira nekyagenda kukola
kakati Bobi Wine yali ku donke waka akolera Besigye
tukirinze
Besigye yali ku Bobi Wine mabegeno ngaka akamiliyoni bwe kadda ku yo nesikula emisinde
nga kumbe kalipidde kuli
yo nesikula Besigye yali eno mabega Bobi Wine asikula emisinde agenda gundi tontula
njagala kubema songa ababadde mu nteekateeka eno
Bobi Wine tontula
naddala munnange Shafiki Mukulumawo ne munafe Kenny ate mukadde wange producer fe Henry Kanyike Mayanja n'omukyala Gloria mbadde balungi nnyo ku kamera awo mukoze mu
ne kamera nnungi nnyo bane mwebale nnyo
ne nteekateeka mwami Tamale Mirundi
n'abalubalu abazungu kakati
abalwala bajja kunonya
Kimbo bateeke waboogera olwogera